This is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors at Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this is some news from Spain. Due to some of the subject matters, I won't be able to show all of the footage on YouTube. They've been heavily censoring the channel, so to stop you not being able to get the information and the story, the uncensored version will be available on the website. The first story is about a seizure of over half a tonne of cocaine by the National Police in Spain and customs surveillance of the tax agency. They seized 648 in a container in the port of Algeciras, and this originated from Guatemala and was destined for Valencia. This happened within the framework of a collaboration between different administrations, and they learned of the arrival to the port of Algeciras of a possible shipment that contained cocaine. According to the information obtained, a joint operation was established by the Civil Guard, National Police and the Custom and Tax Agency, and the container was inspected in the port and the drugs were found and replaced with a harmless load. They then went to the destination where the drugs were to be delivered and arrested several other people. The police then went on to arrest the owner of a truck who they had seen on CCTV coming into the port to collect the drugs, and the two detainees have been arrested and are currently in custody. And that was in Spain. But here in the UK, in Northampton, police found 780 kilos of cocaine after a lorry theft. So originally the police were called to a disturbance of something being stolen from a lorry, and then they found nearly 1 tonne of cocaine, estimated to be £31 million. I featured this story on the website last week. And 3 men and a woman were arrested when officers raided the Brackmills Industrial Estate in Northampton. Police were responding to the reports of the theft when they made the discovery. Holdalls filled with blocks of cocaine were discovered, and they also found an abandoned van that contained bags of drugs and 18 holdalls containing 780 kilos. This has a street value, the police said, at £78 million, but this would have been a little bit less in reality to wholesale. The NCA said this was a large-scale transportation of Class A drugs, and the investigation will be looking at who is responsible in the Northamptonshire area and tackling it. Serious organised crime is a priority for the police, and Class A drugs are responsible for other forms of criminality. So there's very similar stories from the UK and also Spain that shows the similarities in the way that drugs are moved around the world. In another story that I'll be able to show very little of on YouTube because they're very strict on cannabis, the Civil Guard have found 6,600 plants that was run underground. This was ran by a Vietnamese gang, and it was a very sophisticated setup. So for the full story on that video, you'll have to go to the website. I'll leave a link in the description. And in some other news coming from Spain as well, a man was arrested and he was wanted for an acid attack. The Civil Guard detained a man on the motorway. The Civil Guard had set up a checkpoint where they was identifying anybody without driving insurance or licenses, and the man was arrested for 2 crimes against road safety, reckless driving, driving without a licence, and in addition assaulting police. And upon being arrested, they discovered that he was wanted for various other crimes in the area of Malaga. And in some other news coming from Spain, the Civil Guard have arrested 6 people and found 2.5 tonnes of cannabis after they chased down a boat in the middle of the Ayamonte coast. The arrest was carried out by agents from the Maritime service of the Civil Guard, and they specialise in stopping drug boats. They believe they intercepted a transfer of drugs at sea, and the agents decided to approach the suspects, and when they detected the police, they got back onto their boat and tried to flee. When police boarded the boat, they found bales of cannabis and fuel pouches as well, and after a long chase, the agents managed to board the boat and proceeded to arrest the 6 occupants. very popular story in Spanish media this week is about the murder of a man inside a Cicidilla train station. This occurred at 6:15 p.m. on Thursday, and today police have made an arrest. The Spanish police said when they raided the home of the suspect that he was selling drugs, and they found a large amount of drugs inside his home. He wasn't there at the time and he'd been hiding out in a friend's home, and the police also raided there and found more drugs as well. They arrested him for the homicide after he was being investigated by the judicial police and was arrested by the Citizen Security Unit, and these all belong to the Madrid Civil Guard Command Headquarters. The male was stabbed several times and he was left to die inside the train station, and the patrol police found him when they was on duty. A lot of witnesses were there at the time, and the police managed to get some testimonies, and it was possible to identify the perpetrator, and several patrols went into the neighbourhood to try to locate him. The male that has been arrested is 22 years old and of Honduran origin and a neighbour of the victim. In the course of the investigation, the police also arrested a young Dominican man who's 26 years old and resided at the same address. They found different narcotic substances, mainly cocaine, marijuana, hashish and MDMA, with a total value of €4,000. They also found cutting agents, scales, packaging and other tools for distribution. An imitation firearm was also found. So this is a good example of how what occurs on the streets of London, Birmingham, Manchester also happens on the streets of Spain and Seville and Madrid. It definitely gives us a bigger picture of what really happens in the world. So really appreciate you joining me today, and please don't forget to follow me online as well at Scarcity Studios on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter and Facebook, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.